Hey, listen. I know Cam said number one anti-cowboy on the platform. I am the most unbiased content creator that's on the face of this earth. I do not pick sides. I do not have favorites. But I am Team Sherman. And let me tell y'all why. Reason why I'm Team Sherman, because we all said Dallas, talent-wise, fleeced the Steelers in getting George Pickens, who's outplayed DK Metcalf on a $150 million contract. And George Pickens has been one of the top receivers in the league, no doubt. I told everybody, Titan fan, I even made a video. Titan fans, stop looking for George Pickens. He's going to go re-sign with the Cowboys. They're going to franchise tag him. He's going to get $30 million next year to play football. And they'll work a deal out, or he'll be on a contender. Right now, we're not a contender, and we shouldn't be looking to sign $40 million wide receivers, especially $40 million wide receivers who haven't been extended and signed to a long contract, not because of talent, because of personality, which is an important thing.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Not just for a star player, a star athlete to get paid the value of what they're worth in the market at the position they play, but when you pay a receiver 25, 30, 35, 40 million dollars a year, you're paying them to say some years you're going to get double teamed. Some years people are going to game plan to stop you. Some years your slot receiver or your quarterback or your offensive line may hinder you from getting better statistics. The game might be harder for you. You're being paid the biggest contract so that when you look around in the wide receiver room and there's CeeDee Lamb and Turpin and some of your young guys and guys that you bring in through the draft and free agency, to look at you as the benchmark of not only play on the field, but off the field and leadership wise. Like, you paying Myles Garrett to be the example for the franchise in the way he carries himself, the way he works, that every lineman that comes on the Browns is going to model themselves after what Myles Garrett does. The problem with George Pickens is some people think he's more talented than CeeDee Lamb right now, even with all this. But CeeDee Lamb has been getting double since Amari Cooper left. And CeeDee Lamb has not been a distraction to his team. And CeeDee Lamb goes out and balls, whether he's double teamed or not, and play through injury and play when things aren't going good as well as when things are going good. And, you know, to be honest, it seems as if when he's getting the ball and they're winning, George Pickens can be overlooked. But like Cam Ward said the other day, winning makes you overlook things. When you lose, people expose everything about you. And for him to crash out like that on social media because Richard Sherman was critical of him, I'm going to tell you why I got a problem or why it bothers me when athletes do this. The same way Jerry Jeudy crashed out with Steve Smith and they wanted him out of Denver, even though he was their best receiver. In the way that he was showcasing himself to Shador when he felt like the ball should have been here when it was here. You never seen him do that with Flacco. You never seen him do it with Gabriel. You never seen him do it with Kenny Pickett. You do it with nobody else. You got Shador there, so you feel like you can do that. George Pickens crashed out like that on Richard Sherman. Now, if this is Rex Ryan, if this is Orlovsky, if this is Skip Bayless, anybody else in the media, you don't crash out like that. You just crashed out because it's Richard Sherman and the person looks like you. So with that being said, as good as the player that George Pickens is, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I sign him to a franchise tag and I string them along while they're on their Super Bowl run window that they have because Dak Prescott's the highest paid QB in the league. I let him finish this season. I talk to him. I'll let him play on a franchise tag next year. And then when next season's over, the Dallas Cowboys got 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. I replace him via the draft and I let him walk. I don't mind paying CeeDee Lamb $38 million. But I'm not going to give George Pickens $40 million.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
And I can't say if CeeDee Lamb didn't play for a whole season, I would be comfortable letting George Pickens be the leader of my wide receiver room. I don't think you have to worry about that with Jay Jettis if he is the leader of your wide receiver room, or Tay Adams. We can just go through the league. In certain situations, if I'm the Cowboys, I use his talent for the maximum of what I can get for it for these next 2 years, this year and next year, and I draft his replacement. I just don't. So it's like, Schottenheimer I think he said he's gonna have a conversation with Pickens, tweet and delete, but just crashing out because somebody's critical of, it's a big time game, your season on the line. You're going to be getting paid $30 million plus in this upcoming season. And you got a second chance to prove why you're one of the top receivers in the league and why somebody should give you a mega deal. And as great as he's been playing this year, for him to go crash out because the routes was sloppy. It seemed like it was a lack of effort and focus. And it just goes back to show that sometimes, a player just is what a player is. And from the Steelers part, we all felt like, value-wise, they got fleeced. They may have been just happy to get him out of the locker room to say, you know what? Regardless of whatever happens, this ain't the guy who we want to be the leader in the locker room for the next 4 years at wide receiver. And that's the truth, because you never want your best players to be, distractions to your football team. And when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, if you thought about who would be the first distraction to the team, probably can be George Pickens. You see what I'm saying? Like you got double team for one game. The rest of the season, CeeDee Lamb's been drawing the number ones in the double team, and you've been able to work one-on-one. Well, that's what being a leader is. Like, sometimes you got to be unselfish and run clear out post routes and let that slot receiver or the tight end come open underneath. Sometimes you might not get the targets because teams game plan to take you away, and giving up on routes and cutting routes short and not fighting for the football last night is what it looked like. But y'all Cowboy fans, y'all let me know if I'm wrong. If I was looking at something different than what y'all was looking at, I could be in bizarro world. I got no dog in this fight. Y'all could let me know. Did y'all see something different, or y'all see what I seen is sometimes if you're a star athlete, people are going to be critical of you. If you're in a contract year and you got traded from a team because they didn't trust your personality, and how long do we make it before it's starting to become an issue again? How long do we make it? Because the Cowboys got 2 first-round picks next year, and it's a lot of good receivers in the draft. Cowboys could say, you know what?
Let me teach you how to vibe.
We're going to move on from George Pickens, and we're going to move on from Trevon Diggs. And Cowboys might go draft Jeremiah Love with their mid-round, first-round pick, and turn around and draft KC Concepcion or Denzel Boston or Chris Bell or any other top guys that are going to be first round picks. I mean, they could do that and say, you know what, we'd rather do that than spend, $40 million a year to not know if we got to crash out at receiver or not. Because sometimes when players get mad at the media, like, that's what being a superstar or a leader of a team means, that you're going to have to answer tough questions in the locker room, and people are on SportsCenter and ESPN is going to talk about you after the game. That's what they get paid to do, to be critical of who and what you are. And it come with the territory. Cause I thought what Richard Sherman said was spot on. And then, for the people that, get sensitive about it and, well, who is Richard Sherman? All right, just tell me y'all don't know ball, man.